okay, we're going to move on here. 1978. We have sort of a Halloween 2 situation where
Very much.
they waited like 4 years to put out their sequel, and everyone else is out there making all your money in the meantime, right? So we had to make a Jaws 2. And here's a clip.
This is Chief Brody, man on a mission.
Guy, he's
I'm
walking.
providing the trailer narration because I thought this was going to be a trailer. But
You remember him from Jaws.
I think
It's
we
like-
have a hell of a good season going for us.
there is a shark in the waters off Amity,
We're alone.
Again.
and no one will believe him.
I think we may have another shark problem.
Are you serious?
You bet I'm serious.
It's pretty low, the audio.
Got a half-eaten whale on the beach. Got 2 persons missing.
I'm on it.
This whale has got a bite out of it about this big. Martin, no one has seen a shark. Be realistic. I think the selectmen should know about it. I know it's just a feeling, but you've got to understand. Larry, for Christ's sakes, I not only have this attack, but I've got 2 water skiers who have
A tragedy, but a boating accident. No fin, no sharks, nothing but a boating accident.
But they're both still missing.
We have a lot of deaths in these waters that never turn up. Are they all shark victims?
Maybe they are.
Oh, bullshit.
Bullshit. Is it bullshit? I got a whale on the beach with a bite in it this big?
What am I, an ass? When you called me, I called Elkins and Frost's. Nothing she saw is proof of anything.
So that means we're not going to do anything, huh?
Martin,
Got some hecklers there.
Yeah, big time. Okay, yeah, big time hecklers. We got some Jaws mayors in the house. Okay.
And now the more I think about it, that was it Murray Hamilton, right? The mayor. He looks just like my state representative there. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But
Yeah.
okay, so I
Self-docs.
really like this movie. I know we've talked about it a little bit before, and you were like, "Oh no," and I was like, "Yeah, come on, it's not so bad. I really like it." And I'll explain
Okay.
why later. I'll explain why later. a
You
little
can
bit
explain
more.
why now, because I have a
Oh.
confession to make. I didn't get to Jaws 2. I'm so sorry. I
Oh.
fucked you really bad.
Terrible. You
Yeah.
could have done the Bart Simpson book report style.
You want to talk about, dude? Okay, yeah. I mean, really, I was honestly thinking about that, but go ahead. I was like, fuck, can I just like fast forward through this thing? Because like, okay, by the way, I watched this like 2 years ago, right?
Okay.
And I remember thinking it's not terrible, but it's such a pale. It just pales in comparison so badly to the first film, and it suffers from the lack of Richard Dreyfuss and the lack of Quint. You know, I mean, of Robert Shaw. I mean, it's just Brody is great, and I love. Why can't I think of this stuff? I love him. Brody, the actor.
Roy Scheider.
Roy Scheider. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, I love Roy Scheider. I love Marathon Man. I love Sorcerer. But it just didn't do it for me. I remember the ending with all the kids, like they upped the stakes a little bit, like the Jaws is going to come eat a bunch of kids in inner tubes and stuff. And I'm sorry, I'm going to pull the Pauline Kael defense on this. Is that if I don't remember it, sorry, I didn't like it.
Okay, fair enough.
I apologize, Ryan. I let you down. I ruined the Jaws 2 portion of the show. I'm ashamed. I'm sorry, but go ahead. Why do you like this movie?
Why was he still the mayor? I was actually thinking that the exact same thing as well. I mean,
There was
like,
the same thing in Grizzly too, where they have one of those
Yeah.
filler conversations where he goes, "You don't even care if people are dying. You just think you're going to get elected president." And it's like, why the
clearly was
hell?
negligent in the first movie. The fact that he's still the mayor that many years later. people are
I'll
very
tell you
forgiving.
why. I'll tell you why. It's because he was like the one piece of continuity they could get back. But
Yeah. Well, they got Lorraine Gary as well. So, so for this movie, why I like it? Oh, well, first I think, like you said, the best way to watch this is you cannot watch this directly after you watch Jaws 1. Otherwise, you will hate this movie and you will think it's a piece of garbage. Okay, so it bears watching when you've had a little time, a little distance between the first movie, because if you directly compare them, yes, this is the inferior product compared to the original, and it's undeniable. But this movie also exists. It is an independent movie that I think you should examine and look at on its own merits. Yes, you can't take the fact that it's Jaws 2 out of the equation, but I think you can, look at it from a different perspective. On that note, when I watched it, I think I watched it last year, and I hadn't seen Jaws 1 in a while. I really, really liked it. But when I watched it again last night, after I had watched Jaws 1 like a day or so beforehand, it definitely felt like I said, like the inferior product. I think the reason why this movie personally, I think we lost George, but I'm going to keep going while he comes back. One of the reasons why this movie speaks to me more so than probably to George is that this movie seems like it was more of the inspiration for the Universal Studios Florida Jaws theme park attraction. It definitely has much more to do with that ride than the original film even did. And so as someone who went to that park many, many times growing up and experienced that ride, this movie had an impact on me because of that. What I'm talking about is specifically the ending of the movie where the shark gets electrocuted by chomping on the electrical wire under the water. That's how the ride ends at the theme park ride. So there's that, plus kind of the whole idea of being on a little boat as you're going around the Amity area and you're being constantly attacked by the shark as it jumps up into the water right next to you. That connection to the theme park ride really has an impact on me, as of course that ride's no longer around. So, like I said, it works a lot better. We have you back?
Sorry.
You missed my entire defense,
But the people saw it.
Sure. I'll just re-summarize. I think one of the things that speaks to me personally is that this movie is more of the inspiration for the Universal theme park ride than more so than the original Jaws movie. And I mentioned specifically the electrocution of the shark, which happens at the end of this movie. That's how they killed the shark at the end of the Jaws ride, which is no longer around.
Got it.
Plus, like, it feels like the ride when you're watching the movie where they're in these little rickety boats and the shark's popping up next to you, in the water. So I like that. And like I said, I miss that ride so much. It's like it only exists in Japan as a full ride. Really? Yeah, they have it on the studio tram tour in LA, but it's just a short version.
Well, this movie too also has like an incredibly famous poster tagline. Just when you thought it was safe to get back under the water. I mean, it's incredible. The marketing guys, they earned their pay that day for sure. Right.
It's a very slick movie. It feels corporate. Obviously, the studio were the people that really wanted this to be made because they made a boatload of money off the first movie, and Spielberg was not interested in making a sequel. So I think they fought and waited, tried to court him, and then at a certain point they were like, "Forget it. We'll get somebody." There was another director attached to it at first, and then that person dropped out, and that's how we got Jeannot Szwarc, if I'm pronouncing that
seems
correctly.
So Hollywood to like, we can't get the superstar American back. Let's get like a French guy or something. You know what I mean? Like very like Alien 4.
Jeannot Szwarc is a Universal regular player, a regular Universal television director. If you watch a lot of Night Gallery, for instance, you'll see his name all over the place directing episodes of that, of Rod Serling's Night Gallery.
That's how Steven Spielberg proved himself. It makes sense. I mean, this is a guy who is competent. He made a decent movie that it's not ridiculous and crazy. I remember, I didn't rewatch it for the refresh to get deep into it. So I apologize for that.
His filmography also includes great movies like Supergirl, 1984, Santa Claus the movie, 1985.
But Somewhere in Time, which I heard is good, which people with
Somewhere in Time, Enigma, 1982.
That looks badass. I don't know what that is, but it's got Martin Sheen and Sam Neill, and it's like some kind of like horror film. That sounds
CIA
amazing.
agent who tries to infiltrate Soviet intelligence in order to stop a murderous plot. Oh, Sam Neill also, yeah.
I'm there. Yeah, Sam Neill and Martin Sheen.
Oh, yeah, and Bug as well.
Bug.
So
okay.
I have a lot of respect for this guy. It's taking on an impossible task, which is to make Jaws 2. So You're taking the resources which are available to you, and you're making the best available product. You're not making a work of art. You're making a well-oiled machine here.
Yes.
So on that level, is it a competent movie? Is it well made? Yes, it's all of these things, but it's not Jaws. So what do you do?
But it's a totally serviceable sequel. It's not odious.
And if you watch Jaws 3, which I dare you to watch because it's unwatchable. I liked that movie when I was a kid. I had the VHS for that and I used to watch that. But I tried to watch Jaws 3 earlier this year and I couldn't finish it. It was so bad. I think it's partially because this movie still Jaws 2 still using the like practical shark effects and stuff. Jaws 3, they're using these weird optical effects because of the 3D, and it looks really, really bad. So you can't even watch it.
I was toying with the idea of like if I had like an extra 30 minutes, this would have been me watching Jaws 2.
Howard Berg, the world's fastest reader in the Guinness Book of Records, demonstrates his mega reading technique on national TV.
And you read this.
That's so fake.
Anybody who gets this course from yours can do what you just did. You already have the ability. I'm just showing you how to release it.
The weirdest thing about Jaws 2 is the continuity, which, if you remember in Jaws 1, Brody has little kids, like they're like under 10, right? They're like, he has two sons, and they're both like not toddler age, but like, school age, elementary school age. And then in this movie, he's got a teenager, like a 17 or 18-year-old teenager. And this movie is only 3 years later. But in continuity, it must be 10 years or more. I mean,
more.
So what happened there? I don't know. Nobody cared, but I noticed that.
I would have, if they could have, it's like a Godfather 3 thing. If you could have gotten Richard Dreyfuss back, it would have made a world of difference, to have them to play off each other because Jaws 2 has just got Brody out there doing his thing. Right.
He's cool. He's very cool in this movie.
He's great. His wife.
He's way cool. He's even way cooler than in the first movie.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's Jaws 2.
Wait, I would also just say a couple more comments. This feels very much more like a teenager movie. Like it's definitely trying to appeal more to like the teenage crowd. And because of all, you've got all these
kids,
really nice looking young people that are the victims here. So I think that's an interesting angle that wasn't explored in the original film, which feels much more adult, even though the subject matter is the same. I think that was it. That was the only other point that I was really going to make. It's not a suspense movie at all. Unlike, and I've read interviews or heard interviews with the director, and he's like, we couldn't copy the same exact formula. Like we copied as much as they could, but the entire idea of hiding the shark and playing up the suspense angle was totally dropped. And they're like, let's just make this a full on animal attack movie where you see the shark. Let's play up the shark. We got the shark. Let's show it as much as possible. And at least you get a little something different.
It's very similar to like a Halloween 2.
Yeah.
Well, everyone else is stealing our money. Looks like they're imitating us, but we have to imitate the imitators now.
Yeah.
To catch up to what they're doing. Because everyone else has gone whole hog bigger.